Yesterday, we reported about a mainland Chinese magazine exposing torture of women inmates at a labor camp. Next, we hear from two former prisoners of conscience from China. Their experiences show the abuses detailed by Lens magazine are anything but isolated.
China's labor camp system has been thrown into the spotlight again. This weekend, a magazine article exposed the extent of abuse against women inmates at the notorious Masanjia Labor Camp in Liaoning province. But the conditions there are far from isolated. Human rights violations in China's controversial re-education through labor system have been reported for years. And they happen throughout the country, where labor camps turn inmates into slave labor.
We were wrapping disposable chopsticks. We couldn't take breaks, not even to wash our hands after toilet breaks. We were only allowed to shower once a month, and we had sores on our skin. After scratching, they turned bloody, but we had to keep wrapping the chopsticks.
Fang is a Falun Gong practitioner. In 2001, Beijing authorities sentenced him to 1 year in a re-education through labor camp. The Chinese regime's crackdown on the spiritual practice began 2 years earlier in 1999. A former quality inspector at China's Ministry of Construction, Liu says the forced labor took a toll on his health.
One day before I slept, I was so exhausted I couldn't stand. I was throwing up and my whole body was in spasms.
It wasn't just harsh working conditions, though. Inmates often have to work with toxic materials. Ms. Pan, another Falun Gong practitioner, was held in Shanxi's women labor camp for 3 years. In one 2-week period, she and other inmates worked 20-hour days, making red envelopes used by Chinese people for celebrations.
The glue choked our breath. It was toxic. We had to use the glue to make the envelopes. We were constantly dizzy.
China's re-education through labor system is a remnant of the Cultural Revolution era. Under current rules, police can send an individual to labor camps for up to 4 years without a legal trial. Since 1999, practitioners of the Falun Gong spiritual practice have been victims of this policy. Overseas observers believe they make up the majority of inmates at Chinese labor camps, numbering at least in the hundreds of thousands. Since their abuse inside Chinese labor camps, Pan and Liu have escaped China and are now living in Canada.